Good afternoon, friends. Myself, Vijay B. Jadhav, Assistant Professor, Loknete Dr. J.D. Power College of Pharmacy, Manur. In this lecture, we want to learn fundamentals of HPLC. HPLC means High Performance Liquid Chromatography. So, we want to learn the concept of chromatography because HPLC is a part of chromatography. So, chromatography is nothing but it is an analytical method in which the compound is physically separated from the mixture. We want to measure. That means the main purpose of this chromatography is to separate the compound prior to quantification from the matrix. This chromatography is basically classified into three classes according to the stationary phase and mobile phase we are using. So, the first class of this chromatography is liquid chromatography, in which the stationary phase is solid or liquid and mobile phase is liquid. Then, second class of chromatography is gas chromatography, in which stationary phase is either liquid or solid and mobile phase is always a gas. Then third class, that is supercritical fluid chromatography, in which the mobile phase we are using either carbon dioxide in the supercritical state. Now we want to learn the historical background of this chromatography. So the scientist named M. Tesfaye the first developed the chromatography. So he take a model, that model having a glass tube with the arrangement of draining the liquid. Then this glass tube is filled with the a stationary phase made up from calcium carbonate, and mobile phase is used as a liquid as petroleum ether. And he take a matrix of constituent to separate it called as the chlorophylls. So this is the simple arrangement of a well-known chromatography that is called as the column chromatography. So we see the basic in this diagram, the basic arrangement of column chromatography. In this column chromatography, we see the basic three parts. The first part is here a mobile phase reservoir. Second, a glass tube filled with the stationary phase and the sample is applicable. Then here the draining arrangement, and here the fractional collection unit. So in this classical column chromatography, there is addition of the sample take place on the surface of the column, and then solvent is allowed to flow. The solvent flowing through the column by the gravitational force. So it is called as the gravity flow. Then separated constituents are collected, their fractions in different glass tubes, and the analyzed these collected fractions by a offline technique. So this is the basic of a column chromatography. Now column chromatography having number of advantages and disadvantages. As the advantages are, this chromatography is inexpensive in nature. Then this is the simple, no moving parts. No sophisticated technique is used, just a simple glass tube and stationary phase. And for the separation, the gravitational flow is used. So it is the simple arrangement. And it is good for preparative work. So if you want to produce or separate the large amount of the matrix into its constituent, this column chromatography is very useful for such a situation. It's having some disadvantages, like this technique is slow because we are using gravitational pull technique. That means there is no driving force instead of gravitational forces. Then the resolutions we are getting is as low as other techniques. Then it is difficult to quantitate. That means to measure the accurate quantity of the substance, it is quite difficult as compared to other sophisticated technique like HPLC, GC, because they are using various online and offline detectors to detect this compound and quantify them. Now, we want to compare the thin layer chromatography versus high performance liquid chromatography. So, the type of analysis, the thin layer chromatography is generally used for the qualitative analysis only. That means TLC is used to determine whether a particular constituent are present in the matrix and to separate them. But the HPLC is used for the quantitative and qualitative purpose. That means they can identify as well as they can measure the constituent. The stationary phase we are using in TLC is two-dimensional. That means we are using a glass plate. It is two-dimensional constituent. We are just making a thin layer on the plate, so it is considered as a two-dimensional structure. But in HPLC, we are using three-dimensional column because the stationary phase we are filled in the column, they are covalently bonded with the wall and producing the three-dimensional structure. Instrumentation. In TLC, we required very minimum instrumentation because just a glass plate, the spreading and a TLC chamber and developer. Just a very simple equipments we are using. But if we are considering the HPLC, there is much instrumentation is there and number of variables we want to adjust, like the mobile phase we are using, it may be the gradient or maybe the isocritic. Then the pump we are using, whether the different types of the pump and different flow rate, different pressure. Then we are using different columns and the different detectors and their different parameters. So there is number of different parameters that can be adjusted. Then sample application. In TLC, a just spotting take place with the help of capillary, but in HPLC there is an introduction of sample by a injection into a Riodine injector. So this is the sophisticated technique because we can be applied a sample into high pressurized condition. Then mobile phase movement. In TLC, the mobile phase movement is take place by a capillary action, but in HPLC there is a high pressure solvent delivery take place with the help of pump. Next parameter is visualization of results. In TLC, the whatever the results are obtained, they are visualized using UV light box. In HPLC, For the visualization of the result, we are using online detectors like UV visible detector, PDA detector, that is photodiode array detector, fluorescence detector, refractive index detector, pyrrole detectors. So such types of the inline and offline detectors are used. Then form of results. The results from the TLC we are getting in the form of RF value, that is called as the retention factor. The results we are getting in HPLC in the form of peak, and this peak is measured in the form of retention time and peak area. So this is the differentiation between TLC and HPLC. Now we want to learn the modern liquid chromatography, that is called as high performance liquid chromatography. So in this HPLC, we are using a pump rather than a gravitational force. So we can increase the speed of separation of the compound. Second thing, we are using the column, they are packed with the small particle size, so that we are getting the higher surface area and we are getting a better mass transfer. The third point from the HPLC, that there is the use of variety of online detectors, so that the compound can be easily analyzed and it can be detected and quantified by using these sophisticated online detectors. We are having flexibility to a variety of applications due to these detectors. Now, the advantages of HPLC. The HPLC is applicable in wild fields. Why? Because it is wild in applicable in wild fields, because it's having high resolution, rapid analysis, high sensitivity, excellent reproducibility, quantitative and qualitative analysis, easily automated. So these are the some reasons, that's why these HPLC is widely accepted and used. So why we use HPLC? What is the reason behind that? Because HPLC is used in simultaneous analysis. If you want to analyze a mixture at that time, HPLC is used. It's having the very high resolution, high sensitivity, small sample size. That means we can be analyze a sample in the quantity of ppm or ppb, that means part per million or parts per billion. It's having a very good reproducibility, that means result can be reproducible. Then next, it is a modern analysis condition. So there is no need of vaporization in the sample like GC. That's why thermolabile compounds can be analyzed in HPLC. Easy to fractionate the sample and purify. That means by using the HPLC, the compound can be separated into its constituent. And the most important, the HPLC is non-destructive technique. That means after separation of the compound, they can be used for the further analysis. And that's why the HPLC is widely used in various fields. Then scope of HPLC. So this is the different field where the HPLC is used as pharmaceuticals. In pharmaceuticals, HPLC is used for the analysis of antibiotic, sedatives, steroids, analgesic, crude drugs, and cosmetics. That means it is used to analyze the various constituent from the compound in pharmaceuticals to detect and to quantify them. In biochemicals, like determination of amino acid, proteins, peptides, carbohydrates, lipid, enzymes, and hormones. They can be analyzed using HPLC. In food industry, the use of HPLC for the determination of additives, saccharides, amino acid, vitamins, fatty acid, coloring agent, and various antibacterials added in it. Then in industrial chemical, they can be used to determine the condensed aromatics, surfactants, propellant, dyes, polymers, and plasticizers. In forensic chemistry, they are used to determine drug, poison, blood alcohol, and narcotics. In environmental field, inorganic, it is used to determine inorganic ions, organic acids, agriculture chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, and phenol constituents. And in clinical medicines, the HPLC is used to determine bile acids, drug metabolites, urine, excretes, and estrogen. So, this is the scope of HPLC in various fields. Now we want to learn the separation mechanism of HPLC. So in this diagram, we see here the mixture. This mixture is introduced into the column. That column is packed with the stationary phase and the driving force is mobile phase. So they are separated due to the different affinity of the analyte to the stationary phase. And as the less affinity compound is eluted first, as and the more affinity compound is eluted secondly, as shown in the diagram. So the compounds are separated because the molecules move at the different rate in the column. They are moving with the different rate. Why? What is the reason behind that? We want to see. So here is the basic arrangement. This is the stationary phase. This is the stationary phase, we call it as a column, and here the direction of mobile phase. And here we are having the eluted compound in the form of peak. So the weaker interaction compound, it is less retained in a column and they are travel very fast and they are eluted first, okay, as shown in a diagram. Then the stronger interaction analyte, they are retained in a column and they are eluted later one. So we are getting this as due to the different interaction between the stationary phase and different sample, the molecules move at a different rate and therefore their separation can be done. Now the separation modes. The separations modes having a different classes as normal phase chromatography. That means a stationary phase and a mobile phase. There is a different mode. Second, a reverse phase chromatography. Then ion exchange chromatography. It called as the ion chromatography. Then size exclusive chromatography. Next type is the affinity chromatography. Now we want to learn the normal phase mode. What is meant by normal phase mode? In this normal phase mode, we are having a stationary phase is a polar in nature. That means the stationary phase we are using, it is having a polar in nature. So generally we are using a silica gel. Silica gel is used for the general purpose. If we are using a cyano compound separation, that is a cyano type of stationary phase we are using. Another, for the sugar analysis, we are using amino type of stationary phase, and for the protein analysis, we are using diol type of compound or stationary phase. And all of the stationary phase having polar in nature. So, for the general purpose, we are using silica gel. For cyano, we are using modified silica gel. For the amino type, we are using for the analysis of sugar analysis, we are using the amino type, and for the protein analysis we are using a diol type. Okay, so here is the silica simple use, here is the modified silica, that is the cyano type, here is the amino type of the silica for the sugar analysis, and here this is a protein analysis, that is called as the diol type. So this is a normal phase mode where the stationary phase is the polar in nature. Okay, then here the mobile phase is non-polar. Which mobile phase we are using? We are using as the organic solvent like hexane, benzene, methylene chloride, chloroform, carbon tetrachloride, diethyl ether, and THF, etc. So these are the compounds, organic compounds, they are having a non-polar in nature. That means their polarity is less as compared to other compound. Okay, then normal phase mode. In normal phase mode, the stationary phase having a polar property. That means it's having a polar in nature. And mobile phase is non-polar property. As earlier we see, this is called as the normal phase chromatography, where stationary phase is a polar and mobile phase is non-polar. This combination is defined as normal phase mode. Normal phase chromatography or normal phase HPLC means the stationary phase is a polar and mobile phase is a non-polar. The first developer used calcium carbonate as a separation column and petroleum ether as a developer solvent. Then solvent polarity as hexane. In second, hexane and isopropyl alcohol 98 divided by 2, hexane and isopropyl alcohol 95 divided by 5. And if we are using a different polarity of the solvent, we are getting a different separation, and we are taking a separation of these three compound as shown in a graph. Okay, dibutyl phthalate, diethyl phthalate, dimethyl phthalate. So these compounds, they are separated with the different resolution by using the different polarity of the solvent. First, if we are using a hexane, it is a compound with the less polarity, we are getting the compound well separated, but they are having the larger retention time. Then we are changing these with the isopropyl alcohol, or we are making a combination and in this combination we are getting the compound well separated and with the good resolution with the smaller retention time. So the solvent polarity is directly affecting on the separation of compound. Now stationary phase for the reverse phase column. Which stationary phase generally we are using for the reverse phase chromatography or reverse phase column as C18 column. This is called as the ODS type, that is octadecyl silane. Next C8 column, that is called as the octyl column. Then C4 column, that is called as the butyl column, and phenyl type. So all these are the stationary phase, they are used for the reverse phase column. What is meant by reverse phase? In that reverse phase, the stationary phase is non-polar and mobile phase is polar. That means opposite to the normal phase chromatography. Then TMS type, then cyanotype as earlier we see. So this is a stationary phase, the silicon or is attached to the non-polar group. Okay, so this is the octadecyl type of the column in which this silica, this is a stationary phase. In this stationary phase it is attached to the ODS type, that is octadecyl silane, and this group is non-polar. Okay, so this is the different types of the column we are using for the reverse phase column chromatography. Now the different mobile phase for the reverse phase HPLC, like a mixture of water, buffer and organic solvent. So organic solvents we are using like methanol, acetonitrile, THF. The buffers we are using as phosphate buffer, acetate buffer and etc. It may be a citrate buffer. So we are using the ratio of aqueous and organic solvents to various extent. They are very important to adjust the polarity. Then reverse phase mode, as earlier we discussed, the stationary phase is a non-polar property and mobile phase is a polar property. This combination is defined as reverse phase mode. Now, the separation mechanism. Due to the different interaction between the packing material and the different sample, the separation can be done. That means the interaction between the stationary phase and analyte is different, and due to this different interaction we are getting the separation. So this is the packing material. Packing material means a stationary phase we are taking, and this sample having different interaction with this packing material. Here we are show the sample A having the different interaction with this packing material and sample B having different interaction with this packing material, and that's why we get a separation. So what is the interaction? There are different types of the interaction take place between the analyte and stationary phase. The first interaction, that is the hydrophobic interaction. So here the support particle is there, then the non-polar bonded phase is there. So this is the bonded phase that supporting the stationary phase, and here interstellar area, that means here the mobile phase moving from the column. So this is the basic arrangement, and here the interaction take place between the analyte and this stationary phase. So the less polar analyte and B, as shown in the diagram, the B having the more polar analyte. The less polar that means more hydrophobic in nature. What is meant by the less polar means more hydrophobic in nature. These analytes are more attracted and spending the more time associated with the hydrophobic bonded phase. That means they are interacted with the hydrophobic bonded phase and they are exhausted lastly. And the more polar compound, they are eluted first. So this is called as the hydrophobic interaction. So hydrophobicity, if the sample have the more the group or more carbon chain, they are having aromatic groups, okay, and if the sample have more carboxylic group, amino group or hydroxyl group, they are having hydrophobicity. This is the hydrophobicity is stronger, and if they are having a carboxylic group, amino group and hydroxyl group, at this stage the hydrophobicity is weaker. That means the compound having the more carbon chain and aromatic groups, they are hydrophobicity is strong, and the compound containing carboxylic group, amino group and hydroxyl group, they are weaker one. So it is sufficient for today's lecture. The next part will be discussed in the next lecture.